Right now at 10, a wildfire in Juneau County sparks evacuation warnings from the DNR. The ongoing investigation into the cause.
And local school districts respond to a dangerous TikTok trend as safety concerns rising after students are seen damaging Chromebooks.
It's a place of community. It's a place where you know that all the kids there are like going through the same thing.
In a Madison teen's special journey from diagnosis to remission, we'll follow her down south to the place giving hope to kids fighting cancer.
That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10, live from Madison. Good evening. We thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. Fire crews and the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources spent the evening fighting a wildfire.
Our Maddie Heimsch is live now in rural Juneau County with more on this blaze. Maddie?
That blaze burned 80 acres, but has since been contained by crews. The Department of Natural Resources recommended about 40 households evacuate, but a DNR official I just spoke to let me know that no evacuations actually occurred, but it did lead them to heed that warning. The DNR also put out a couple of red flag warnings today in several counties around the state. Now, those warnings ask that residents of those counties don't do any burning due to conditions that could lead to dangerous levels of fire spreading.
To check with the DNR on our information about fires and making sure that you know when or when you can't burn and checking with all that.
Like I said, that fire burned 80 acres here in Juneau County, but no structures were impacted and no injuries were reported. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Reporting live in Juneau County, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you, Maddie. A fifth person is dead after an apartment complex caught fire in Milwaukee over the weekend. The fire broke out early Sunday morning and around 30 fire trucks had to respond to the scene. Crews used ladders and were able to rescue 30 residents. The Milwaukee Fire Department says the building did not have a working sprinkler system because it was built before they were required back in 1974. A Fitchburg family is picking up the pieces after a weekend fire led to the deaths of 4 horses. Early Sunday morning, the Plinder family farm caught fire, leading to the loss of Colton, Shay, Archer, and Charlie. These horses are now laid to rest next to the field where they spent their time together. The Plinders say the farm will be able to be rebuilt, but their beloved horses cannot be replaced.
Rain on the way for southern Wisconsin. Meteorologist Blaze Keller on the weather patio in Madison, joining us with the latest.
That's right. The rain right now mainly off into the Chicagoland area, but Future Track will show those scattered rain showers move on in as we head further into Monday night, really picking up as we go into Tuesday through the morning hours, and that rain chance is going to stick with us throughout the day. Again, Future Track is going to show that. We're also going to see maybe a thunderstorm or two as we go into Tuesday as well. But the better chance for rain is going to arrive on Thursday. That's when we're continuing to track that chance for some severe weather. We could even squeeze out a few rain showers there before we end the work week on Friday. That same system is going to move its way out of the Midwest by the time we head into the weekend. So near daily rain chances pretty much from here on out, but we're all focusing on Thursday because we could see severe weather once again across parts of not only Wisconsin, but the rest of the Midwest. Thursday afternoon into the early evening hours looks to be that window of time, about 2, 3 in the afternoon through maybe as late as 8, 9 o'clock on Thursday. So in the full forecast, we're going to talk more about that, time it all out, and talk about what's working for and against our severe weather chances in just a few minutes.
All right, Blaze, thank you. The man accused of abducting a pregnant Beaver Dam teenager is federally indicted in Arkansas. Gary Day is facing several charges, including transporting a minor to engage in criminal sexual activity and production of child pornography. Day also faces state-level charges here in Wisconsin, also in Nebraska. He's accused of taking Sophia Franklin from her Wisconsin home back in February across state lines. Day is scheduled to appear in an Arkansas courtroom on May 27th. An arraignment hearing for his Wisconsin case is set for June 3rd. The father of the ALCS shooter has been released on bond. Last week, a court commissioner set Jeffrey Rupnow's bond at $20,000. He's charged with intentionally selling dangerous weapons to a minor and contributing to child delinquency. Rupnow's preliminary hearing is set for June 9th. A trend on TikTok is challenging students to damage their Chromebooks. Now, this could cost parents nearly $400 to replace the device.
The DeForest School District is just one of the districts sending warning letters to parents. Our Tanisha Shaw has more.
We've had a handful of students that have tried this challenge, yes.
Chris Zerniak is the technology director at the DeForest School District. The district sent out this email to parents after students tried a viral trend on TikTok on school grounds.
The reason that communication went out was so our parents can be informed. That way our students can be informed, and hopefully that we can go towards the education. That's what the Chromebooks are for.
Students are putting metal objects into a USB port, waiting to see if their Chromebook will spark or even explode.
That basically creates a short circuit between the charge unit of the USB and creates smoke, has the ability to actually start the unit on fire, can short circuit all the way through and actually potentially start a huge fire.
Zerniak wants to make it clear that this trend is not safe.
It can be very, very dangerous. A, the fire part. B, any of the smoke that's coming out of it can be very toxic.
If students damage their Chromebooks, parents will have to replace them.
So for these, it is an intentional damage, and so therefore it's a $400 fine because that's going to pay for a new Chromebook.
Reporting in DeForest, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you. And Middleton Cross Plains District also sent a similar letter to parents.
Pope Leo XIV hosted his first audience with journalists since his election to the papal seat. Addressing over 1,000 reporters at the Vatican, the first American-born pope advocated for peace in Gaza and Ukraine, continuing his calls from an address on Sunday. He also condemned ideological attacks and urged responsible use of artificial intelligence in journalism.
The suffering of these imprisoned journalists challenges the conscience of nations and the international community, calling on all of us to safeguard the precious gift of free speech and of the press.
Now, a lighthearted moment occurred when he autographed a baseball for a fan nodding to his Chicago White Sox roots.
Well, President Trump is trying to bring down the cost of prescription drugs. The president signed an executive order setting a 30-day deadline for drug makers to lower the cost, and he asked his top health officials to meet with pharmaceutical companies to broker a deal. He says if they fail to do so, the administration will match what Medicare pays for some medications to the lowest price paid in other developed countries.
Some prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately by 50 to 80 to 90%. Big Pharma will either abide by this principle voluntarily or will use the power of the federal government to ensure that we are paying the same price as other countries.
Now, nearly 1 in 5 Americans are enrolled in Medicare. It's unclear how this will change what the rest of the country pays for prescription drugs. Now, some pharmaceutical organizations released statements opposing this executive order.
President Trump may speak with China's president at the end of the week. This comes after the two sides agree to temporarily lower the tariffs they've imposed on one another. The agreement calls for the U.S. to lower its 145% tariff on Chinese goods to 30%, while the retaliatory tariff China imposed on the U.S. drops to 10%. That agreement is only for 90 days while the negotiations continue. Well, this week, the Supreme Court will hear a case that ties to the Trump administration's plan to end birthright citizenship. The Supreme Court previously deferred the president's request that would have allowed him to enforce the plan. Now the justices will hear arguments about his request to restrict orders by lower court judges, and that could impact this citizenship case.
Well, if you've owned an Apple device since 2014, you may be eligible for part of a $95 million class action settlement. The lawsuit accuses the tech company's voice assistant, Siri, of spying on users. Users say that their private conversations were being recorded by their devices after Siri was unintentionally activated. There is a hearing tentatively scheduled for August to approve that settlement.
American Airlines is adding a nonstop flight from Madison to New York City LaGuardia. The service will complement Delta Airlines' existing trip to the Big Apple. And just within the last month, Dane County Regional Airport announced other nonstop flights to major cities, including service to Los Angeles International Airport. That'll start May 21st. That means Dane County Regional now offers nonstop flights to 17 destinations around the country.
Well, a champion has been crowned to become this year's Wisconsin Fat Bird Week winner. The spherical white-throated sparrow gained 72% of votes, a beautiful one. In the final round of its opponent, the rotund ruby-throated hummingbird received 28%. You like the crown there? Hosted by the Natural Resources Foundation of Wisconsin, the contest aimed to raise awareness for bird conservation. Voters also learned tips to protect native songbirds.
I love that story. In the heart of Madison, a unique festival is transforming the local music scene. Ty Christian, founder of Mad with Power Fest, is bringing together heavy metal enthusiasts from around the world. What started back in 2017 as a reaction to festival booking practices has grown into North America's largest power metal festival.
But what we're trying to do is we're really trying to put it on the map in terms of power metal, thrash metal, traditional heavy metal, and just metal in general. Because it really only takes, I've found it really only takes like one person, one band to kind of do the work to make a scene a scene.
The festival will feature 12 bands along with unlimited arcade play at the Sylvie. It runs June 6th and 7th. Still ahead at 10, Blaze tells us about the showers headed to our region.
And building hope for kids fighting cancer. We'll follow one local teen's journey to remission. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Over the next several months, News 3 Now will be introducing you to patients, parents, and staff at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee.
And tonight we meet a Madison La Follette High School sophomore who has used her voice and sense of humor to defy the odds.
When you talk about it enough, it kind of just becomes like easy to talk about.
Eloise Mahoney is the epitome of a person who knows how to sing out strong.
You go! I deflect with humor.
She even chuckles when describing unbearable pain.
I was getting these throbbing headaches. Like tiny people in my brain were like taking sledgehammers and like reconstructing my head. And it hurt so bad.
And while that pain changed her life, she won't let it define her.
I also have a lot of other things to think about, like, you know, high school drama. Like friends and boys and she did what?
Eloise is focused on her teenage life despite her very long, recent journey with cancer. It started 4 years ago when she was 12.
It feels impossible. It feels impossible. It's not supposed to happen.
An MRI found a mass, and Eloise was in surgery the next day at UW. When the pathology came back, doctors knew who to call. It turns out a doctor at UW Health in Madison completed a fellowship at St. Jude in this specialty.
We're in the hospital. Our kid just had brain surgery and trying to figure out what we do next. Then she said, you qualify for the study in St. Jude, I'll take you. And everybody said, go to St. Jude. That's what you do.
This magical place, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee, has treated children from more than 200 countries around the world. And for Eloise, it's a home away from home.
It's a place of community. It's a place where you know that all the kids there are like going through the same thing. And all the parents can know that all the parents are going through the same thing.
They could take care of all the details so that all I had to do was take care of Eloise. Like, that's what it felt like. They really, really think of everything. There's a happy cart. Like, there's people that just tool around the clinics with a cart that's got toys and coloring books and dental floss and lotion and just whatever you need.
For the first 2 years, Eloise and her mom, Jen, had to be back every 3 months for months at a time. Now it's only every 6 months for a checkup, which Eloise loves.
How special does a place have to be that a 16-year-old wants to go back to the hospital where it was the worst 7 months of her life?
And when we asked Eloise to describe St. Jude, her answer,
Cancer Disneyland,
says it all.
It's Disneyland, yeah.
Back to life in Madison, smiling, laughing, and singing.
Sing a song nice and strong. Sing a song, sing out
would send a message, I think I would say, like, you're not gonna be in here forever. Hang in there.
And a special thank you to Eloise and her mom, and also our photojournalist, Chris Hawbaker. We also learned that today happens to be the 3-year anniversary of Eloise finishing her chemotherapy treatment.
Love the story, Sarah. You and Bubba did a great job on it. Thank you for sharing. Great weekend for Mother's Day out there with the weather, but rain is coming to the Madison region.
Meteorologist Blaze Keller joins us with when those showers will return.
That's right. We're looking at those showers to return this evening and continue through your Tuesday, becoming more hit or miss. Not everyone is going to see those showers, so make sure you take the First Warn Weather app with you. You can check the interactive radar before you head on out. Thursday, we're continuing to track that chance for possibly some severe weather. Let me just clean up this graphic real quick, because sometimes it likes to show all the severe weather outlooks at once, but we're only focusing on Thursday. We're in the warm sector, so the warmer air region of this low pressure system Thursday afternoon. And we've been consistently in that 15% threat since about 2-3 days ago. So that threat and the confidence surrounding the possibility of severe weather occurring Thursday afternoon continues to remain there. And again, I like to look for consistency. I like to see if the same things show up, because then that to me says that we'll likely have the ingredients necessary for severe weather. What's going to happen Thursday is a low pressure system is going to be moving its way through the Dakotas into Minnesota. And in doing so, it's going to strengthen, and its warm front is going to lift through or move through Wisconsin as we head into the mid to late afternoon. Closer to the center of that low, which is going to be off into this area, we'll likely see along that warm front a line of showers and thunderstorms. It's further to the south into central, southern Wisconsin, even northern Illinois, that we'll likely see a broken line or discrete thunderstorms. And those discrete thunderstorms are going to pose the greatest threat for large hail as well as an isolated tornado or two. That line threat is going to pose more of a strong wind threat. But that whole window really closes about 9-10 o'clock at night, and that low pressure system begins to move its way eastward. So we'll still be dealing with cloud cover as we go into Friday, with that chance for showers mainly staying north of Madison Friday, but we may see some of those showers move their way southwards Friday night into early Saturday. We're looking at the chance for supercell thunderstorms. Is the environment able to create them? And if we see those darker oranges and even those reds, according to our legend, we're getting into that high chance of supercell thunderstorms. So we're going to be watching to see if those develop. Again, those are going to be the ones that have the rotation, the chance to create tornadoes and or large hail. There's going to be plenty of moisture. There's also going to be a lot of energy for these storms to use. This is atmospheric energy. This is the food essentially feeding the storms along. And if we get into these yellows, that's on the higher end of our legend here. So we have all of the makings. But again, we could have a strong atmospheric cap. We saw that last time. We may just put in some of those ingredients a little bit too late. No severe weather event is the same. So even though we didn't see severe weather last time we had a severe weather outlook, that doesn't necessarily mean this time it's going to be the same. So strong winds and an isolated tornado are probably going to be our main threats, then followed by hail. So make sure you stay with News 3 Now for the latest as we go over these next couple of days. And of course on Thursday for severe weather coverage if we do see severe weather. But we will quiet out by the weekend. I just want to make a point again that no two severe weather events are the same, so don't think that just because we didn't see it last time, we're not going to see severe weather this time. It's always just to be better safe than sorry.
Big time. And stay tuned.
And stay tuned, yes.
Thank you.
Well, the weather can be unpredictable. The Brewers pitching can be unpredictable. But one guy's kind of been good this year.
Yeah, it was, today was a good news, bad news situation for the Brewers. Coming up in sports, Freddie Peralta joined the 1K club, but why his milestone, of course, was spoiled in Cleveland. That's next on News 3 Now. The entire Packers schedule will be unveiled on Wednesday, but one big-time matchup was announced this afternoon, and it involves the oldest rivalry in the NFL. The Packers will head to Chicago for a Week 16 game against the Bears on Saturday, December 20th. That will kick off at either 3:30 or 7 o'clock. Remember, Green Bay hasn't lost at Soldier Field since December 16th of 2018. Heading into the night, the Dallas Mavericks had a 1.8% chance to win the NBA draft lottery, and the Mavs cashed in all their chips to win it to claim the #1 pick ahead of the draft and secure the rights to select Duke's Cooper Flag, if so they choose. Well, the other big story in the league, of course, the summer of Giannis continued, with ESPN reporting that for the first time in his career, the two-time MVP is open-minded about exploring other options besides Milwaukee to see where the best fit long-term is for him. Just when it seemed like the Brewers were going to get a boost to their pitching staff with the return of Brandon Woodruff on Saturday, well, the baseball gods had other plans. Big Woo is staying on the IL with right ankle tendonitis. Now he'll rest up this week and then make another minor league start. And speaking of the Brewers pitchers, well, Fastball Freddie was on the mound for the Crew in their series opener with the Guardians. And this K to end the inning was a big one. Peralta gets Daniel Schneemann swinging for career strikeout 1,000. He's just the 4th Brewers pitcher to join the 1K club. Unfortunately, it was in a losing effort. 4th inning, 2 outs, bases loaded, and Jack Centurio can't make the catch. 3-run score, and we are all Freddie Peralta after that play. Brewers fall 5-0 the final. Staying on the diamond after winning their 2nd straight WIAC tournament title, Whitewater Baseball is on to Michigan for regionals, which is a little bit of a head-scratcher considering the Warhawks won both the league outright and the conference tournament title. The 2024 national runner-ups will take on Adrian College on Friday. And the Whitewater softball team will also be on the road for regionals. The Warhawks will travel to Cleveland to take on Penn College on Thursday morning. This is Whitewater's 3rd straight regional appearance. We're back after this.
Tonight,
Ryan Reynolds, what in the world are you doing here?
Well, someone said puppies, Stephen. Colbert's all new with Ryan Reynolds and Puppies. CBS tonight.
And we're looking at some rain tomorrow.
We are, mainly through the, I would say, the morning commute, and then we'll see it become more hit or miss as we go throughout Tuesday. A mix of mostly cloudy to partly sunny. That'll keep temperatures in the mid-70s for the most part. Light southeasterly winds. Not everyone will see the rain or a stray thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. The same can be said for Wednesday, but starting later Thursday afternoon, we could be dealing with not only more widespread showers and thunderstorms, but potentially some severe weather as well. So make sure you stay tuned with News 3 Now for the latest tomorrow, Wednesday, and if we have to do so, severe weather coverage on Thursday as well.
All right.
Blaze, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Have a good night, everyone.